biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Good afternoon and welcome. This is RCR Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dawes-Burt, and I'm always excited. I say that all the time. Yeah, Fonda's laughing because we had some jokes before we started to get with the live broadcast. Welcome, everybody. Let me just breathe. I have two beautiful guests today, two beautiful authors, and we're going to introduce them and get into the topic just momentarily. But for those new listeners, I want to tell people what Real Chicks Rock is all about. Real Chicks Rock is all about the empowerment of women, and we do it through various different ways and vehicles. We do it through community service. We do it through our apparel line, which my man is right there in the shot. Yeah, the shirts. And then we do it through mentoring and public speaking and through the arts. And as I say every time I'm here, every first and third Sunday, I always say that the arts is becoming my favorite because I have an opportunity to talk about things that empower us, things that I like. I get to talk to wonderful people, and I'm starting to really love doing this more and more and more and more and more. So today's topic is the power of being an author, the power of writing, right? So I have two authors today, and I'm going to start with you first. Just introduce yourself, just say your name, a little bit about yourself, and that's it. Go.
So where do I look? Do I look?
You can look at me. You can look over there. Okay. You can look at me. You can look over there. We're just having a conversation. It's going to be one of those days.
My name is Fonda Clayton, and I am an author, a speaker, a life coach, and a podcaster.
Everything.
I'm pretty much all the things.
Everything.
You know, I don't like to be in a box.
No, you don't.
Right.
I won't even talk about your cooking skills. That's another topic for another day. So you do a whole bunch of other things. Awesome. Thanks for being here, Fonda.
My pleasure.
You beautiful to my right.
Thank you. My name is Joyce Reed.
Mm-hmm.
I am an author, motivational speaker.
Yes.
I'm an advocate for sexual assault, and I also have a nonprofit called Hurt to Heal.
Nice, nice. Now, I met you ladies in two different spheres, but I just thought that today would be great because I know you guys are passionate about being an author and why you write, and we want to talk about that because I think there are quite a few people out here that are struggling, even me personally, like, dude, should I write? Is there a book in me? What would I say? What would I do?
At least one.
See,
Yeah.
see, you starting already.
Well,
You see, and why do you feel that there's at least one? Why do you feel that?
Because every time you and I have a conversation, I come away feeling better about myself. I learn something about what you're doing and the passion that you bring forth.
Man.
And I think that it would just really help people to just go after the life that they want.
Wow.
Through your perspective.
See? You see what I'm saying? You see how you help people? That's what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk more about that because that, I think for some, it's a struggle. And I think by having you ladies here, we could talk about how to get started, why did you do it and how did you get started and kind of work through those nuances for the listeners. And so let's just kind of jump into it, right? Okay. So I've known you ladies. I've known Joyce just recently because of the domestic violence gala that you were a speaker at, yes. And I was one of the sponsors. Monica. Yes, at Columbus, Georgia, and it was great. Yes. And I was like, hey, she's got a story to tell. And her speaking was very passionate, and her having her book, and I thought it would be great. I know you as just being a firecracker. Yeah, she's laughing. Why are you laughing? Because you are. Yeah, because everything that you do it with passion, and you're unapologetic about what you do. And I've seen you both publicly and privately change the temperature in the room. You've changed people's lives through what you have to say and your passion. And for you to take that and put it in a book is going to help a lot of people as well. So I want to kind of jump into that and talk about it. So when did you ladies know that writing was something that you wanted to do? Was it always something you thought of or no? Not really. Look at Fonda's face. Fonda's like, no. Fonda's like, no.
No. Okay, well, I will just say that I'm an accidental author.
Really?
I consider myself a content creator more than an author.
Okay.
A thought leader. But not an author.
Okay.
I still kind of get squirmish when I refer to myself as such.
Really?
Even though my book was #1 on Amazon, when it first came out.
Yes.
But it's still like, That's not me.
That's not you.
Really, but I love to have the platform. I love to have it open doors for me, for me to express, like, this is my narrative about this subject at that time.
Okay.
So I love it for that.
Okay. Joyce, how about you?
I didn't know that I would be an author.
Okay.
It just started from when I was 10, when I used to write things on paper. I wrote things in journals since I was 10 years old, and I didn't know that the things that were in my journal would turn into a book.
Wow.
So I love to write. Like, before I wrote my book, typed it, I wrote it.
Did you really?
Yeah, so, and that's what I'm doing with my second book. I write it first. I still write in journals every day. I have my journal since 1994.
Wow.
Maya.
So
Maya Angelou, she used to write in longhand on the legal pad.
Yeah.
I write everything down.
Yeah,
I'd rather write it than type it.
And type it. And some people journal. Does that make them an author or a writer or no, right? Help me.
It makes them a writer,
Yeah.
but not necessarily an author.
Because most people don't want to put it out there.
Right.
Some people like to just get it off their chest. That was one of my form of therapy, and that was writing. But I didn't know at the time that was a form of therapy. But it is a form of therapy for some people that just likes to write and just to get things off their chest when they don't have anyone to talk to.
Did you experience the block? That's another thing too, like writer's block. Did you ever experience that?
Yes.
Well, how could you if it's your story?
It's
Help me.
you just have to be in that mindset. Like, you just have to be ready to actually just write. You have to not let people. You just have to be in a space where it's just quiet, where it's just peaceful, no distraction. Because you can get writer's block. Even though it is my life, but it's like some things in my life that I've been through, I have to relive it by writing it. And that was one of the hardest things that I had to do, was reliving it. So I got to the point where I'm just like, I'm done. I don't want to do it. It took me 10 years to write my book.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was, me, myself, I do get writer's block because I don't want to relive those things.
Yeah, it's difficult. And I can imagine. And tell the listeners a little bit about the content of your book, just a little bit, or about the blocks that you experience.
So my book is Hurt Used to Live Here, and I talk about things that I've been through from the age of 9 to 29, and just writing about my experiences when I was molested at 9 years old, when my father raped me at 12. That was the hardest chapter that I wrote in my book that I could not read over and over again. I mean, it's just hard because when I wrote the book, I didn't forgive him. I didn't forgive people while I was writing it. So I was more so like crying the whole entire time.
Right. So
I would get writer's block, and then just experiencing the deaths that I had in my family in 1 year, and me being homeless, me trying to commit suicide 3 times, just trying to relive all of that. It's just like, it's a lot for just one person, and still not knowing and not understanding what is actually going on.
And because of your story, your personal story, why share it? Why share that?
Because when I was 29 years old, I realized that when I tried to commit suicide the 3rd time and taking those 45 pills and laying down in the closet and hoping that I would die, God had other plans for me.
Yeah.
My story is bigger than me.
Yes, it is.
My story is to help motivate, empower, and inspire other people to also share their truth. Because everybody has a story, but not everybody have the courage to speak out about it.
True, and everybody doesn't have the same story. That's the truth. That's the truth too. Fonda, tell us about your book that's been on Amazon. Go ahead, tell us.
Well, I wanted to circle back to the writer's block piece of it, right? So a lot of times the writer's block piece for me was about, if I choose to tell this story, staying in the story long enough to not give a bloop about someone else's perspective about what I was going to, you know what I'm saying? Like about what I want to express, right?
Yes.
And that was the writer's block for me. And what happened for me is I had, because I like to, dot my I's and cross my T's. And so I sent my clients these questions and
Yeah.
And I wrote it and it was flowing. It was good.
Right.
But it didn't feel like is this really what needs to be written now?
Okay.
Well, that was the question. I save my information, I walk away,
Right.
and I come back, and all of it is gone.
What?
Just gone.
My engineer said, what?
I mean, word, yes. It was and I just crumbled, right? Because then I wanted to show up for myself. I know how to show up for other people.
Right.
If there's a deadline for other people, that's great. But when you work for yourself and it's just you can always push that date, and nobody's going to be the wiser. But I told somebody, I told my business coach, I was like, listen, I want to get this done by this date so that I could do this thing.
Right.
And I was like, it was a holy moment.
Right.
And I was able to write it in a couple weeks. I was a bitch on wheels. I was like, don't talk to me. Don't ask me about dinner. Like I need to get this done for me because I felt like my life was on the line. Like if I did not do this, that I was going to continue to hide.
Right.
Because I had been used to, taking the back seat and hiding. I know how to hide in plain sight. I'm a master. I had been a master at that. And so because I know how to do it really well, I figured other people probably know how to do that really well. Right. So when I wrote my book, Stop Giving Your Power Away, I was like, okay, what kind of conversation do I dare have? And the book is about the ways in which women give their power away through their vagina. And we give it away through our thought, our action, our inaction, through the decisions we make about what we buy for it, what we put in it, who we let in it, all of the things. And I was just like, I don't know anybody else that's writing about this. Right. Because these are the conversations that my girlfriends would call me about. Right. Through my years of body work. These are the things, this was the common thread, that people were feeling inadequate and unworthy. They didn't love themselves, And I was like, yeah, we need to change this narrative because we've got another generation of girls coming up that we need to be able to call a thing, and to tell her to, pull her panties up and put her skirt down is just not enough information.
Wow. Wow. One thing you said was that you have a business coach, right?
I do, yes.
And that person coaches you through writing this book, right? Do you have someone that does that or no?
She coaches me. She talks me off the ledge.
Okay. Okay.
I feel like every life coach should have a coach or two. I have two.
Say that again. Say that part again. Every what?
Every life coach should have a coach or two or a few.
Okay.
Just like I would never go to a therapist that was not in therapy.
Ooh. For some that can relate, I'm gonna take it down another. They won't go to somebody to get their hair done if they don't do their own hair or get their own hair done, right? So it's like presentation. There's something about I can trust you. Like there's a trust mechanism there if you're going through the motions that I'm going through. Is that safe to say, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of people are calling themselves coaches, and I don't know if they have one. I'm just going to let that. That's why I said say it again. I don't know if they have one.
Let me just say that the playing field is about to be leveled, and I'm excited about it.
Ooh. Is that a 2018 threat or notice?
Bow. Listen, it's like, come on with it.
Fonda Clayton from the Bronx. Represent the Bronx, Fonda.
All day.
Whoa. Yes. I think for me, because I feel something here, but when it's my time to write a book, I know I got to write a book. And people have different energies about being an author, right? Some people will say, if you are a motivational speaker and you're going to go and stand before people, you need a product, right, that they can have and keep in remembrance of you, right? So after whatever you said, sometimes it typically aligns to what you said in the book, and they can go back and go, wow, that's what she said, and this is her story and that kind of thing. So I've heard people that are higher in this walk of being in a empowerment speaker, coaches, this,
Sure.
that, and the other will say, you know, when you go out there, you need that. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe that's what I need. I don't know. But then I think there's another piece that it's about sharing yourself. Like, and so you have to be at a place, right, that you're willing to be transparent through words. And I'm like, am I there? Am I there yet? Because usually what I do is all about you. It's always
Sure.
it's not about it's not about me. But when you write, it's like opening up. People open up and they're looking to see, is she gonna really say more about, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. So I personally think I would need a coach to help me kind of navigate through the whole, because I'm not a writer. I have a blog. Yeah.
Don't say that again.
I blog.
Miss Ma'am.
I blog, but I'm blocked every time. I have a concept and it takes a minute and then it'll come out and I do and I go, whew, and I don't feel like I empowered the masses through my writing. So I'm not a writer. Don't look at me that way. I'm not a writer. I'm not a Fonda. What?
Well, you know what? Let's make a pact.
Okay.
A pinky swear.
No, I don't want to.
I won't refer to myself as not being an author, and you won't refer to yourself as not being a writer.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Pinky
right.
swear.
Pinky swear on the
All right.
thing. You're the reason why I'm here. So a lot of people don't know, and I told Fonda when she got here today. In January 2016, Fonda had a few people come by her home to, I don't even know if
We
it
did
was
a mastermind.
Yeah, it was a mastermind. It felt like an intervention. I felt like I was stuck. I felt like I was, as an entrepreneur, like I felt I was stuck. But the takeaway that day was basically speak, declare, operate in what you want. And that day I said I wanted to do what I'm doing right now. And it happened like I started doing podcasts, like 90 days. Like I did it. I was a day off from the day that I committed to doing it. So I started doing some podcasts and then I got a hold of Instinct Radio. Hi, Instinct Radio. Thank you. And I've been doing this for a year and a half now.
That's amazing.
So that's you are partly responsible. So are we going to have one of those masterminds for 2018? Because I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
You need to re-up?
I need to re-up.
Okay.
I'm stuck. I'm saying things like there's next level, and I have no idea how to get there.
Okay.
So we need to figure that out, right?
Yes.
Digress. All right. So Joyce, you've been a writer since 10. Do you have someone or that kind of coaches you through your writing, or you just write because it's your truth? And
I write because it's my truth and it's my passion. I don't have anyone to teach me.
Wow.
A lot of people that read my book, they say it's raw.
Yeah, it is raw.
Yeah, so I put you in the place that I was at. I don't use big words.
Right.
Because at 10, I didn't know big words.
Right.
It's raw. There are misspelled words in my book.
Really?
It's me. It's who I used to be.
Right.
I can't put on a facade and say that I was this doctor. That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I want to put you in a place where I once was to get to where I am now.
Okay.
I'm here right now because of the things that I've been through.
Mm-hmm.
And if I could relive it again, I would, if I knew that I would be able to help other people.
That's powerful, Joyce, because you've been through a lot. And I only know that just based on what you shared as being a speaker at the event in Columbus. And that's a lot. That says a lot about you. So you're willing to go through that just to help. If you could just help, I would say if you can just help one, you've helped 1,000 people. Awesome. As a writer and an author, is there anyone that inspires you now that you're in that demographic? You're in that demographic of being an author. Are there people in that area that inspire you to continue to write or no?
My kids.
Awesome.
Yeah. My kids, because if it wasn't for them, I don't think I would be here.
Yeah.
And just looking at my oldest son and know that he forgives me after me telling him that I hated him and I didn't like him.
Right.
You know, and just that is like, that part is that just gives me motivation to keep moving. If I know that one day, or now that they're looking at me and said, "Mommy, we got through this. We once was living in a car. We once was standing on the corner holding a sign begging for money.
Wow.
We once was sharing a canned good. We once was sharing a loaf of bread together. I once was 110 pounds.
Wow.
But we made it through. And if I can get through it, anybody can get through it.
Wow. Awesome. That's heavy. That's heavy. That's her truth. Who inspires you as an author / writer? Who is your inspiration? I heard you quote Maya. Is she one or
Maya
no?
Angelou is just so...
She's everything.
She's all the things.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say that a few times.
That's okay.
A few more times.
All right.
I love the rhythm and the melody that she rides on when she in her writing. Like, shortly after she passed, I would get a couple of her audio books, and because she was speaking it. And like I got into her model of the world. I felt like I was in the room with her, like a ladybug up on the wall. Like, oh, that happened to you, really? Word, you know. But Paulo Coelho is one of my favorite authors. You know, The Alchemist.
Yes.
But I did not read his book first. I read Veronica Decides to Die when I was in therapy, and my therapist told me that I should read this book because I was contemplating suicide.
Okay.
And this is a wonderful book because long and short of it is the character was 25, and she wanted to commit suicide before she got too afraid to die. Because most of us, you know, we live in this fear of dying.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people don't do a lot of things.
Right.
And so it really helped me. You know, just the rhythm of his writing and knowing that he took pieces of his experience, because he's been to, I think, a mental institution a few times. So he just took that narrative and just created a fictitious story, but it's just really wonderful. I love it. Yeah.
Are you guys in book clubs by any chance? No. Look at you. Their face, they were like, no, we don't.
I can't admit that I am an author, but I don't read.
Really? You
I
write
don't.
but don't read?
No, I don't.
Okay. No judgment.
I'll get a book
judgment.
and then I'll like start it, but then I never finish it.
Why?
What's your favorite thing to read?
Her stuff?
I know.
Her own book?
I like reading like books about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I like to read true stories. You know, it's not really any good true stories.
Story,
I mean,
yeah.
besides mine, but you know.
I'm just gonna hold the book up for the people. Right, so you can see. Yeah, right. So you like to write, but you don't like to read.
No.
No judgment. Okay, that's fine. You. How about you, Fonda? What are you?
I love to read nonfiction.
Okay.
Spirituality books, non-physical, entrepreneurship books as well. I have at least over 100 books that I have not read.
That you've not read.
That are on my bookshelf.
Okay.
I'm obsessed. They're like children. I have to have them. I'm obsessed.
That's cool. I have a lot on my bookshelf too.
Oh, okay.
Never opened them.
Silly. And you keep buying books, and
I have to have.
you
them.
have to have them.
You know.
Yeah, cracking the seal.
Some people need candy. I just need a book.
You gotta have books, and
Right.
you gotta.
And this is the thing, is that my book is not hardcover. It's not physical.
I know.
But I love.
How
a book.
dare you?
I know. I'm gonna fix that too. Listen, I'm coming clean. Listen, I'm getting my therapy today.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah, like
professional.
Yeah, because
it's so hot.
Because I know we're all digital. Let's talk about that too. Everything's a digital age with the Kindle and download the books and that kind of stuff. But for me, I still like opening it up, turning the page, highlighting, dog earing the page. I can't do that digitally for me. And I'm always in the car. I'm not in a position where I can read. Like, I'm not a passenger somewhere where I can just pull it out and just read. I don't do it at work. I'm going to read it at home, and I like the book. So has it been a challenge? Is it easier to do it digitally versus the hardback or a physical book? Not really?
I think physical, because me, when I do speak, I always sell out when I do have the book.
Okay.
And then most people, when you digitally, like, people say, well, I'll buy it or I'll download it, and they never do.
And they never do, because you get distracted. Right.
Did she say she always sells out? Did you
did.
Did you
I did.
Did you
I
catch
did
that?
catch what she. I picked
felt
up what she
that.
was putting
And
down.
that's
I did.
no shade.
I did.
I was like,
I was
did
like,
she
no,
say?
no, it's not. No,
It's no shade.
No, but that answers your question about, you know, the platform, building the platform of authorship.
Right.
You know, it's just like having something physical, you know, is so important. I know this intellectually, but, you know, like when I was speaking last week, I could have had a book to give to somebody, or, you know, however I wanted to do it.
And why didn't you not do that?
Because I'm lame like that.
Is
Because I've moved on to the next thing.
Is that?
You know, in my head, like, I've moved on to the next thing. Like, I've got at least like 12, 15 podcasts that need to be released. I'm just like, I'm everywhere.
You're moving on.
Well, but you know what? But people are just open to the conversation now. Like, I wrote the book in 2015.
Right.
But people are just ready to have
We're
the
a little
conversation
slow.
now.
We're a little slow.
Well, it's not even. They always say to you, like, when you're creating a platform, they say, you know, whatever you're doing, be prepared to talk about it for the next at least 18 months.
Okay.
Because it's going to take that long.
Yeah. For people to catch up to where you were at the time.
But then at the same time, because of the topic, these are not easy topics.
These are not easy topics.
So you got to sit in it a little bit longer, and it's just like, oh, okay.
And for you, you sat in it longer because you had thought about it. There's a whole creative process of even doing the book, writing the book.
Yes. But really, like, it's just my impatience. Okay. You know, because I wrote the book with the idea of creating a platform to which to speak on. And then when it hit, number one, I was like, oh, shit. What now? And I wanted to go back into hiding. Right. I came out. I wrote the book. Ta-da! And I want to go back. You know. But that's not how it's. No. That's not how it's supposed to be.
No. Why do you think that the topic for your book is difficult for us as women? Let's talk a little bit about that. About stop giving your power away. Why do you think it was difficult for us? That's a big one. That's loaded.
Yeah.
They say I ask good questions.
Well, you
I'm
do.
sorry.
I mean, no, don't apologize. It's supposed to be good. Otherwise, we'd be bored. You know what I mean? It's difficult because we don't have relationship to it. We're taught as girls not to have relationship to it. That we're to be validated from the outside. That if I say to you that I am pretty, period, I'm conceited. But if you tell me I'm pretty, I'm supposed to, oh, thank you.
Yeah, okay.
As if I didn't know that.
Right,
like,
right.
You know you're beautiful. If you don't, I mean, I could just call you every day and tell you. But, I mean, it's true, right? But if I could say to a young woman or an older woman, to really take the time to get to know herself and her parts, that they're not separate from her unless she goes to the gynecologist, to have a relationship, like a checklist of these are the questions that I need answered, and you're not leaving this room until you answer them. Right. Because you have a vantage point that I don't have, that I need to be able to live with myself. And then when we get in relationship, we expect our partner to take care of it for us. Yes. You know that. Yes. You know, like, you are in charge of your orgasm. You know, you are in charge of how you view yourself. Because if you view yourself at a certain standpoint, no one can stay that doesn't agree or think it's higher. Powerful. That's heavy. That's powerful. Yeah. I was talking to somebody this morning, something similar, but not as heavy, but it is our responsibility. We as women, we tend to have difficulty in owning our truth. That's a real common talk, but it is. We think that it is someone else's job
to make us happy. I was in that space for a long time. That's a little bit of I'm sharing. I'm sharing. Yeah, I don't typically get down, but I'm sharing. That's where I was. I was like, well, why aren't you making me happy? And guys don't know that. They don't know you. But as I got older, I realized I owe that to myself. Like, I need to know what's going to make me tick, what's not, what's going to make me hot, what's not. I need to know that before I can even introduce that to anybody else. And so, unfortunately, there's still quite a few of us as women that are in that space that we're looking to things or people for the validation and to make us happy. And you have to own that. And I put that in the bubble of health and wellness. Real talk. Like, I think that in order for you to have a healthy relationship, you need to come to the table healthy.
Well, that's self-care. That's true self-care. And I'm speaking as a massage therapist right at this moment.
Right.
Self-care is not a massage or a manicure or pedicure.
Right.
It's how do you feel about yourself?
Right.
Like, is your cup full? Right? Like Iyanla says, what's in the cup is for me. Right. And what's in the sauce is for everybody else.
Wow.
And that's hard, as a girl child, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, what you mean? Like, I'm supposed to just drink all that's in the cup? And especially as a mom, I'm not a birth mommy. I'm a bonus mommy. Right. But it's necessary for us to do so. Like when we're on the airplane, they tell us to, put your mask on first. And it has become so cliche. It's something that we always say or we always hear in interviews. But it is almost everyone's been on an airplane, and everyone can recall that being said, and it's just so true.
And it's hard. I was in that space too, because I was like, when I really listened to that, I was like, what? When I became a mom, so like 10 years ago, I was like, what do you mean not? Right? I was bugging out. I was like, what do you mean not give my son? And I realized I can't help anyone else if I'm not straight. I cannot. You cannot. And that's where you start. That's where you initially start in the transition or the spiral of the wellness, because you're like, I gotta get this and I need that. And saying no is okay too. That's my other power. Like, no, I'm not doing that. That doesn't work for me.
And no is a complete sentence, please and thank you. It is complete.
I'm not messing with you. You're done. I'm not messing.
I'm sorry.
You sip on your water. I'm not messing with you, Fonda. You're too much. But yeah, so it's a lot. It's a lot. And I know for you, Joyce, just because your story is heavy, but you're here. That's why I always say you're so beautiful, because you're here and you're willing to share that story with so many people through your book. And that's why the power of writing for you is phenomenal. And I think that other people are going to want to share their truth just as it is. Like, I think the message here, part of the message today, is that it doesn't even have to be perfect. It's your story. And are you willing to share it with other people? And what do you want to get out of it? So what do you want people to walk away with when they read Giving Up Your Power and reading your book? What is the one thing you want people to walk away with when they read your book?
That we're all human. We all go through things. Like I said again, everybody has a story. Why not share it? I used to give people the power to control my feelings, to control my emotions. When I express myself, I would cry. Why am I crying? Yeah. You still have control over me, but I no longer give you that power. So just that in itself, just releasing all of that anger and forgiving everyone, and just know that no one's perfect. Like I said, I have misspelled words in my book. You just can't give people that power. And just know that this is your truth. This is what you live. This is how you feel. And nobody can take how you felt. They may want you to feel a certain type of way, but your feeling is your feeling. So if you felt this type of way, then express that. Don't be ashamed of how someone would judge you, because that's why it took me 10 years to write my book, because I was afraid that I would lose friends, and I did. A lot of my family members stopped talking to me. But again, what I lived and what I went through, I went through it. No one else went through it. So if you feel as though that me expressing how I felt at that time is making you feel a certain type of way, that's something that you need to deal with. I'm expressing how I felt.
Yeah.
Why I was in this space and how I allowed you to control me. And, you know, nowadays, well, back then, it's just like what goes on in this house stays in this house.
Right. Yeah.
But how can I continue to inspire people and empower other people if I continue to believe that?
Right. So you have to be
you
have to be transparent.
Yes.
So as a writer and an author, curating your story for 10 years, like you have all this data, what gets put in the book and what doesn't? How did you decide that for you? Because that's a lot of, that's a decade. That's a decade of stuff. So what gets put in, how do you determine that? They say I asked the question.
You do.
Michelle's the asker of the questions.
How do you decide?
I felt what was important. What I
Okay.
know people go through every day.
Okay.
And I lived every day not knowing if I would make it, if I would die tomorrow. I didn't fear death. Like, I wanted to die.
You wanted to die.
Yeah, so I think, like I say all the time, like, people pray when they're little, teenagers, and say, I want to be rich when I get older. I want to have this big house. For 365 days, I got on my knees and prayed that I would die, that God would take my life. So I didn't know that I would be able to be sitting here now. I didn't know that I would go another day without whatever that was. So I wanted to make sure that if I wasn't going to make it, or if I wasn't able to live another day, my kids would know my truth. They would know what I felt,
Got you.
how they were conceived,
Got
what the truth was, and not from what somebody else has been saying all these years.
Right, it came from
So,
you.
yeah.
So it's almost like you left some piece of legacy here in this book.
Yes.
Because now everything that you've experienced is written not only just for your kids to read, but everybody to read. So it can't be. So Fonda, for you, how did you determine what made it into your book, Stop Giving Your Power Away, and what didn't? How did you determine that?
By keeping the title in the forefront of my mind.
Okay.
Right. If I didn't feel like if it went too far left from the narrative, because I wanted to stay in it, then I said, okay, well, that's a piece of writing that either will inspire me to write something else, or that will become another piece of content for me. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Or not wanting to have the conversation. Like, you have to be ready for the conversation, because there it is. And once you press send, and once you get the book, like, you can't take it back.
Did you find that once you did the book that everybody was like, it was a question, like, what does she mean about this? Or how did that response go for you when you first started getting your speaking engagements based on this book? How did that go?
Truth, I haven't gotten my speaking engagements because of the book.
Really? Okay.
They are separate.
Okay.
But it's definitely it's not a question of what did she mean. It's like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that.
Gotcha.
You know. But these are the conversations that that happen, that people have with me. And so I just wanted to let other women know that they weren't the only ones feeling that way.
There you go. That's the key right there.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break.
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to talk about, is there a possible book number 2 in us? How are we going to get to the next book? How, again, we want to encourage people and inspire them to create their truth and write it down. And don't be a chicken like me. don't be like me. Yeah. Don't be like me. Fonda made me pinky swear that I'm gonna
On live.
Live.
Can't take it back.
I don't. I thought I liked you. Don't save it. Give them to your husband. I don't. We're gonna take a break and we'll be right back.
In the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Real chicks rock.
comedic, 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 comedic.
It's really real when I feel the way that I do right now. I see all my brothers underground pushing up daisies. Man, it amazes me that you can't see where you're gonna be. A statistic, everybody's going cold ballistic. If you had a good day, damn, I must have missed it. Cause you're mad at the universe. Go to hell with everybody else, cause you want your own first. I got the urge to let you in on a little secret, cause you keep dying if you keep it. All the killing that you're feeling is from within. Pull the cover, check the color of your skin. Why lie? I couldn't try even if I had to. Born with the bulletproof vest when I had you. A black woman trying to get through to a few, so you can lead the next crew. 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. Better get yourself together while you're wasting all your time right along with your mind. 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together while you're wasting all your time right along with your mind.
Why should I do right and suffer? I'd rather do wrong, making that loopy and that hustler. Instead of hot dogs, I'm eating pork chops and they smothered. And got a gang of loot up in the safe, up in my cupboards. On top of all that, I push a big fat Lex and got my hoes in a golf course just in case I feel like flexing. So I must ask for real though, who are you? See, I'm a big man.
Yeah, you know you's a big man. Check it. I went through 12 years of school and they never could reach me. My knowledge of my hood is something they could never teach me. I never stutter step, but I kept up with the Joneses, herringbones and plus my little pinky ring. I did a lot of kinky things the girls knew it. Flock to it, I'm around my old way. Yeah, they still want to do it. It's not about the clothes that you got in your back, but the money in your pocket lift you down like that. Come on.
5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together while you're wasting all your time right along with your mind. 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together while you're wasting all your time right along with your mind. Mr. Black Man, tell me where you're heading. The last few years, I watched while you were shedding pounds and pounds of growth of the population. Soon we won't be able to have a strong black nation. I shoot here, I stab, and then boom, will it stop? Cause now you're down from a dose of the crack rock. I'm just a Nubian queen that needs a king to stand strong and try to press on. It's not a white man's finger on the trigger. Carjacks, drive-bys, calling each other. I'm not here to scold, but rather shape and mold a young black mind that won't live to grow old. Cause you're frontin', smoking on the blunt and down with your friends. Cause you think you're making ends, but you're not. And that's the truth of the matter. Your brother getting skinny cause you want your pockets fatter. 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together while you're wasting all your time right along with your mind. 5 o'clock in the morning, where you gonna be? Outside on the corner. You better get yourself together.
You should know it's not that I shouldn't really love you. Let's take it slow.
Comedic, 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 comedic,
We get to know each other, and we're both feeling much stronger. Then let's try to talk it over. Let's wait a while longer. Let's wait a while before it's too late. Let's wait a while
So sexy, you really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl. You look so sexy, you really turn me on, blow my mind every time I see your face, girl. I've been watching you for so very long, trying to get my nerve built up to be so strong. I really want to meet you, but I'm kind of scared, 'cause you're the kind of lady with so much class. I get my thoughts together for the very next day, but when I see you, lady, I forget what you said. Your eyes and hair, such a beautiful tone. The way you dress and walk, it really turned me on. Yeah. Ooh, you really turned me on. Come on, come on, come on. Come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you. Can I talk to you? I really wanna know you. Come and talk to me. I really wanna meet you. Can I talk to you?
Real chicks rock.
There you are again, with the same smile each day. I wanna know what it is that make me feel this way. I wish I could grab you, tell you what it means.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Say what's happening, this your boy Shout Ello. Right now, you're on Instinct Radio. Let's get it. Shout it.
Oh, hi. Welcome back. We are so. You just have to be here for the green room shenanigans or green room chronicles, maybe perhaps. We just have a good time. Welcome back to RCR Presents Real Discussions. I'm your host for today, Michelle Dosberg. I'm talking to authors today, the power of writing, and what inspires them and influences them as writers and authors today. So we had a lot of good chit chat while we were taking a little break. Life goes on. We're here, but people want us while we're here, so we're dealing with some things in the background, but it's all good and fun and friendly. One thing I heard you ladies talking about during the break was, what was it better from going with a publisher or not? Any viewpoints on that? Let me ask you, Fonda, did you have your book published through a publisher, or you did it on your own? No?
I did it on my own. It's just on Kindle.
It's just on Kindle. Mm-hmm. No problems in doing that. How did you start that up? Was it difficult, or just knocked on Kindle's door and said, "Here, let me in"?
Yeah,
It was.
yes.
It was that simple.
It was really easy.
Really?
Too easy.
Really?
Because I had like this trepidation that it was
Yeah.
more difficult.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, that's it. Okay, we're just waiting for approval now.
Okay.
Okay.
So they read through your content and make sure that it's okay, or what? You don't even know.
I don't know.
Okay. What was the turnaround like? Was it just a couple of months to hear back?
24 hours.
Are you serious? My engineer said, "Wow." That's it? So you can write a book, publish it through Kindle, get a response 24 hours, maybe 48. Maybe your book was really good, so they was like, "Yeah, this is a no-brainer." And he did it in 24. Just like that. And is the cost affordable? I don't want to get too deep into it, but there's a cost, I would assume, or no, right? You work those things
I
out?
was doing a promotion, so at first I did like, I think it was the 90 days something or other. And they took a
Okay.
bigger cut, but I really just wanted to get it into people's hands.
Okay.
And then I was able to, bring the price up.
Okay.
To what I wanted.
All right. Awesome. So now we talked about it in the first half because this is part 2 of this conversation. When am I going to get a physical book? When can we get the physical hard copy?
I just told you that I was gonna. She's gonna make me do that.
Yeah, right. You said that behind my back in the green room. Right here, shenanigans. Yeah. When can we get it? Can we get that and call it a second edition? Because the first edition was on Kindle. Can we be cute about it?
Nah, we can't be cute.
It's done. It's got to be done digitally. I got to get it.
No, I'm going to print it. I just, like, you want me to? Okay, in the next 30 days, I will have it printed.
Well, thank you. No pressure, no problem. I was going to give you all of 2018 to get the.
You don't want to give me that.
I don't give you that much time, or at least first quarter. So it'll be by the end of this year
Yes.
that we can purchase a hard copy of it. All right. Because then that's what you do the book signing. Ah. You see what I'm saying? You got to have a book to do the book signing. So then people could take the pictures. I'm with this beautiful author. She was like, stop giving your power away. She signed my book. I feel special. Hey, come on. Don't be that way. Give the people what they want.
I don't smile that much,
You
Listen,
step.
I don't. I like to laugh.
But you don't like to smile.
What's your smile?
No. She's like, we gonna have to work.
Wait, you saw that joke? You see that? You ain't right, Fonda Clayton Smith. You ain't right. She said no. Yeah, so books coming. You said it on the show. Don't have an attitude about it.
She rolled her eyes.
She did roll her eyes. You know what? No. It's all love. We're trying to get you to the next level. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask Joyce. Joyce, you published your own book?
Yes.
Okay. The benefits of that was all the money? Yes. Okay, she's smiling and whispering. Right. There's no middleman, right?
No.
So I think there is a fear, because me on the outside looking in, you think you have to get a publisher, because they always have a publisher in the Hallmark movies when they do. They get the check. There's always like this middle piece. So is it because the time, where we are now, things are digital, we have accessibility that we can do a book quicker than what it was before? I would assume so, right?
The reason why I self-publish is because I went to several different publishing companies that wanted my book, but they wanted to change my book.
Is that right? Tell the truth now.
They wanted to change. They wanted me to take when I talked about my father.
Yes.
It's public. Like, you can Google it, my case. I mean, you can look it up.
They wanted to water it
they
down?
Yeah. He's like, you're cursing and you should, I was like, no, it's your
truth.
Yeah.
It's your story.
So I said, no, I'm just going to self-publish in that way.
Wow. And to me, that's no different than Larry Flynn or anybody else that want to talk about different things that they experience sexually. I mean, whatever. If that's your story, I mean, if anything, they should say, we'll just edit for spelling, for grammatical content, but not change what you're trying to say. Wow.
Yes.
Well, congratulations that people wanted it, but even a bigger congratulations to you, because you was like, I'm not having it. You're not changing my story. Mm-hmm. So for you to self-publish, was it the same kind of quick response? How long did it take for you to do it?
With the self-publishing company that I went through, it takes, I think it's 48 to 72 hours, because they check the formatting of it and make sure everything is lined up, and then they'll send it back. Like, are you okay with this?
Wow.
Maybe that was the most hard. That was the hardest, like, formatting the book to fit. Yes, because you have to go through each page. So they send it back to you, and it's like it's a book on the screen. You can turn the pages, but something like one line may be off on the side.
Okay.
And you have to format
on a page
it all
by
over
itself.
Again.
Yeah.
So you have to. Yeah, that's the most hard. That's the hardest.
Really?
Yes.
So you're doing your own work digitally?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Because again, I thought it was you go, you write it, it gets in, it puts in a binder. Come on, somebody, right? And they come, right? They come through, it's bound, and they come back, and you sit there and you read it, and you make sure everything's fine. You know, I'm old school. I didn't know it was that quick.
It's digital.
Everything is
Yeah,
digital.
so, like, you turn the pages like you actually have the book in
Word.
your hand, and you can look through each. You have to go
Isn't
through
that
each
something?
page.
Yes.
Because
Wow.
if one page is like off on format, you have to format the whole entire book over again. You have to submit it again for review, and then
Wow. Wow. Is it the cost? Because I understand, like, do you have this the size of the font? Does that matter? Keeping it smaller keeps down the cost, or does it matter? This is just how you felt you wanted your book to flow.
You can make the book smaller than that. You
Okay,
can make it
bigger than that.
Yeah,
Didn't
they give
really
you
matter.
options. It's
Is
step by
that
step.
right?
It's step by step.
I did not know that. Now the pressure's really on for me to do one. Don't.
I can't throw shade because I'm still recovering. So
Don't.
But once you do it, it's like really easy. Like I can go on right now, order 100 copies if I want to, and I don't have to make a phone call and say, "I need 100 copies." Can you? No.
Really?
Yeah.
And they come and deliver it. And you
In a
need
week.
that phone call because she sells out.
yes,
Every time she
do.
go, you sell out.
Yes, I
That's
do.
a good thing. Let's talk about the second book, because we in part 2 of our conversation we talked about there are some things that may or may not have made this book. So what's your vision for your second book, if we may ask?
So after my first book, I got so many emails and responses like, you inspire me. Here's my truth.
Okay.
People come to me that they've never shared it with anyone. I mean, I've heard things like, "Oh, I thought I've been through a lot."
Right.
Like, Jesus.
Right.
So I do have a second book that I am writing. It's called Speechless No More. It's time we tell our truth.
Wow.
And so it allows, it's not just about me, it's about everyone sharing their truth and expressing themselves and releasing it.
Really?
So yes, that's the second book.
Wow. So it's an accumulation of stories from different
Of other-
people?
Yes.
Well, anonymous or
Some
this-
people want to be
anonymous.
Yeah.
Wow.
But some people just don't,
Yeah, they
really-
want to tell it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's powerful because they're sharing that with you. They're using you as a conduit or vehicle to help share their story. Have you decided how many stories you think you're going to share?
15.
15. Why 15? Were they the most powerful for you?
No, I just chose 15 because it's 15.
It's just 15.
7 is my favorite number. I
Is
didn't
that
want to
right?
just
Just
have
leave it there?
7. Yeah.
So you double
I
that
think-
number plus 1.
Exactly.
I
So
I see Joyce. You know what I'm saying? She's like, no, this is 15. That's my number.
yeah,
Right.
No particular reason.
Okay,
but,
okay, all right. I'm just
cause.
yeah, it's just cause. Just 15 stories. So when can we expect that book, Joyce?
2018. I'm not going to give you a date because it was supposed to be out this year, and that didn't happen because I went on tour and so much other things. So I'm just going to say 2018.
So let's talk about that. So is it your story? It's so many things with you, Joyce, because you're so transparent. You have a foundation, you're a speaker, you have the book. Is it the book that led to the tour? Or is it just you as Joyce Reed, just sharing your truth? How come you're touring, if I can ask that?
It's my book.
It's your
and
book.
Me just sharing it.
Okay.
When I first moved, only been here three years.
Okay.
So when I first moved here, I had a manager, and she was just like, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Ready for what?" Like,
Yeah.
the hardest part was living it.
Yes.
I think I'm ready.
You're ready.
So
Wow. So you're on tour. You're on a book tour.
yes.
Awesome. Don't
is
be
awesome.
shy. Don't be shy.
So I have a movement called I Am Your Voice.
Yes.
And I go to different cities and states, and I stand there in a public location with a sign with my truth, and I just stand there for an hour. People come up to me. One of the signs says, "I was raped 6 times. I was left for dead, but I now stand before you a survivor."
My goodness. I can't, Joyce.
And people come up to me and they're like, they share their story, or they'll just give me a hug. People come up and just cry. You see faces, like people will roll their eyes.
Yes.
Like one lady was walking with a gentleman. I was in Centennial Park, and I would never forget this lady.
Wow.
And they were married, and they were walking, and he looked at me like in disgust. But she didn't want to turn around while he was looking at me. She turned around when he was looking straight, and she was like, "Thank you." And my mind just went everywhere. I'm just
Yes,
like,
yeah.
yeah, he's probably beaten her or something, or just
It was something.
It was something that
was
she
something.
was
Well,
afraid
she definitely
to turn.
can't speak her voice.
She can't.
Yeah.
So when I saw that, it just chills just ran through my body.
Yeah.
So yeah.
When we talk about serious things, people get quiet.
Yes.
You know, you have these silent cheerleaders. You know, somebody's looking at it like, yes, I'm glad that she's doing it, but they won't publicly acknowledge that. I've noticed that in just my association with domestic violence and working with Monica. It is, yeah. But when you really bubble that thing up, people fold hands because they don't want to be associated with that. I don't want people to think that I suffered that, or I hit someone, or it's not about you though, right? I think stories resonate with people when they have a relationship with that story. So if you didn't do anything, you're good. But if there's something about it, then people just get uncomfortable with certain topics. And that is one. Your book makes people like, when Joyce was talking, it wasn't a dry eye in the room when you shared your story. Every time she talks, because it's hard for people to manifest the depth of it in which you went through what you went through, and you're still here. That's the clincher. And then we're thinking about, oh my God, my boss got on my nerves today, or something. What we're going through has no comparison.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's very difficult for people. And when I tip my hat to you because you're so comfortable with it, right? Because it's your story. And you're like, for you to say, if I had to do it again, I would. Man, you ought to be on tour. So when you're standing out there holding those signs, is it that they come up to you, you're having this conversation, then they want your book, they just want a piece of you at this point, right, Joyce? That's how it goes on?
So when I go, I don't have my products, I don't have my book with me.
Really?
It's just about me sharing my truth. That's it.
Gosh.
I don't hand out any flyers. It's just me sharing my truth, and that's it.
Wow.
Do you get to leave a piece, if there are any remnants that are still inside of you, do you get to leave a piece of that there when you leave?
I want to say this. That still to this day, when I stand there, I still get emotional because I'm human.
Yeah,
Yes.
you are.
I still go to therapy to this day because I'm human. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
But to stand there and see men that still are just so disgusting. So after a gentleman, I was in I was in Charlotte. A gentleman, I saw him looking, but he didn't want to come up. He eventually came up to me. He said, "Wow, you've been through all of that? Can we go have a drink?" Everything in me wanted to go back to that place I once was.
Okay.
Why?
Right.
Why would I want to have a drink with you? Because I've been through that. Do you think that I'm just easy? Like, what was why did you say that?
Yeah.
When I stand there, it's just not about me, because people come up to me and say, I tried to slip my wrist yesterday.
Jesus. Wow.
People come up to me and say, my sister and her husband raped me for 15 years.
My God.
Her sister got her dress for her husband.
Jeez.
And now currently they just had a baby 6 months, and he's raping the baby. And then they had to go to the hospital because the baby had an infection. She blamed it on someone. So now someone is sitting in jail for something he never did. But you know that your husband did it.
My God. The
I hear
cycle.
so many stories. It's
horrible. It's horrible.
But it's like no one talks about it.
No.
Since 1997, 17.7 million people have been affected by abuse. It happens every 98 seconds.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about it.
But we care that Nicki Minaj's brother
Ooh, she said it.
Like, we care. Like, it went viral that Nicki Minaj's brother went to jail for raping this young girl.
Mm-hmm.
But it's happening, not just to say, oh, you whatever, you know,
Right.
not to say that your story doesn't matter. But it's like, it happens to everybody else. It happens to your next door neighbor.
It's
It
happening.
happens to somebody you walk past every day. Like, you just don't know.
I just don't know. It's happening right now.
Like, why Nicki Minaj's brother? Like, why her?
Yeah.
But it's happening.
It's
like,
happening.
To your little sister, your grandparents. You know, I talked to an older lady, and she said her grandson raped her. Like, they're sick people.
It's a lot of sickness in the world, and it's almost getting to a place where people are doing things and treating it as if it's normal or common
Because
practice.
they know that they can get away with
They
it.
can get away with it, and so
Because they know it's not going to be spoken about.
right.
And there are no consequences.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
they're not. When my father raped me at 12 years old, I went to the courts. I went through the whole process. I got poked on by doctors, physicians, went to different detectives. It was overwhelming for me because I'm still not understanding what is going on. To hear that the person that's supposed to be there for you and protect you gave up on you, and they dropped the charges from a sexual assault to a battery, and they gave him 2-year supervision. And not only did he rape me, he molested 3 of my other sisters.
Yeah, sick. Yeah, it's crazy. So your book, you being an author, just allows people an understanding. Not again, we keep talking about your truth, but to hopefully break a cycle.
Yes.
To break a cycle,
Yes.
right? And by you standing there publicly showing, you know, being in your truth publicly for people to see, is to give people the strength to break the cycle. So again, based on everything that you've gone through, we always want to leave people with tools of empowerment, right? So we've talked about the various different issues and things that happen, and you've communicated that through your book. Do you offer workshops? Do you have a way that people can break that cycle? Because everybody's not going to write, but how can we move forward through breaking this cycle? Any suggestions on that?
I do have workshops. I
Okay.
have prevention workshops. I have self-defense classes.
Okay.
'Cause I have my own self-defense product line.
Awesome.
And, you know, I talk more so in colleges because it's happening in some of the colleges that I go to.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I told my dean and they expelled me. I'm just like,
Wow.
her teacher, her professor raped her, but she told the dean, but they expelled her. And it's like she tell one person, and it's just like a domino effect.
Yeah.
If it happens to, I mean, if it happens to her friend, she's not gonna say anything. But it's like you can't, like you just can't. You have to say something.
Yeah.
You say something to a friend. Like you don't have to go to the police. I mean, you should, but you don't have to because you can't trust the police either. But
It's heavy.
yeah.
That's heavy. But the workshops are going to help as well as the book. For you, Snickerdoodle over here, are you working on another book? On a second book?
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Well, I have two thoughts. I have 2 books that are partially written.
2 books partially written.
One is the soft title is "Woman in the 21st Century."
Okay.
And the other one is more of wellness, and it's "Maintain the Sexy."
I like
So-
them both.
Yeah, "Maintain the Sexy" is more about wellness, just the inner journey, the inner talk, the inner walk of how you compose yourself and how to get that shiny penny thing back. You know, because I'm a woman of a certain age.
Yeah.
And so I need to do things to put back, right?
To put back.
And the Woman in the 21st Century is expanding on Stop Giving Your Power Away, where we have to stop take personal responsibility, stand in your power without apology, but don't be a freaking bully. You know, because there are a lot of things that we talk about that's in the marketplace now that's supposed to be under the guise of feminism that really whitewashes what it's supposed to be about.
Right.
You know, just because I'm standing up for my rights and I'm standing up for my sister's rights
Right.
does not mean that I don't think that a man's voice is valid as
Yes,
well.
yes.
You know, because I'm a bonus mom to 3,
Yes,
so
right.
I can't throw the boys under the bus.
You can't.
You know, I mean, I have a delicious hubby, so you know that's the thing.
Delicious. I've met him. He's nice.
He's nice. He's nice to me. He's nice to me. We'll keep him.
Yes.
So with that being said, it's like it's really like straight no chaser. Like these are the things that we need to be thinking about. These are the things that we teach our girls and our boys, because that's how we break the cycle, right? We just can't educate the girls. And from my vantage point, we have to say to the little boys, this behavior is unacceptable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
It's just you just don't protect your sisters or your whatever. You have to protect women, right? And so those are the things that
you're working on, you're cooking on. Yeah, I think it's a good point to make just right now that these conversations are heavy, but by no means are we saying that all guys. No, we're not doing that. We're not bashing men.
Right.
I tell people oftentimes and not that the brand Real Chicks Rock is supported. Like my core Justice League team are men. Realistically, that support me, that I can pick up the phone and say, and they give me good ideas and put me in good positioning and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of dope dudes out here. There's a lot of great guys out here. We're talking about the small percentage that are just doing some damage, that
the
are just
mucks.
the yuck mucks that's really doing some bad things.
Yes.
And we're really trying to shine light on that so that people can know that they have a right. They do not have to stay in this conundrum and deal with that foolishness. And if your way of escape is through journaling or writing and being an author and telling your story and sharing it, then there, for the grace of God, go. Just do it. But we want people to live in a sense of health and wellness and freedom.
Sure.
Because these experiences, good and bad, can keep you bound in a certain way. And we don't want people to live that way, especially raising children, trying to move forward in your life, because oftentimes than not, we hold on to something that people are not even thinking about. They've done what they needed to do. And they've moved on. And you're dealing with this feeling, the residue, the aftermath of whatever that experience is. And so by having having a vehicle to write it out helps even in the forgiveness process, in which Joyce was talking about. Therapy is something that we as people of color, we don't talk about that. Therapy is usually your hairstylist.
Sure.
The chick that's doing your hair, you tell her everything, and whatever she says, you may go ahead and use that as advice. Guys is the barber. They go to the barber shop and whatever's going on. So for us to really sit down and talk to a therapist is a stretch for some of us, because you crazy? Because that's the first thing that people kind of associate therapy with. But for people to really get a hold of, why do you feel this way? Why am I in this space? How do I get to the next level? How do I process this as a person? How do I become whole again? Then therapy might be the answer. Would you agree with that?
Therapy or life coaching,
Yes,
etc.
right.
But I find, like the thread that I find is that people don't want to acknowledge their full range of emotion. We want to jump on the bus of forgiveness. But sometimes oftentimes you have to just admit, I'm really fucking pissed. I'm full of rage. Like when I've done thousands of massages and touched hundreds of bodies, and the sorrow and the angst and the rage that women feel, and when they don't process their emotion all the way through, because societally it's not accepted to be pissed. Right.
Because then you're an angry so-and-so woman.
You're angry so-and-so, but it's just like when Joyce was sharing, like they wanted to water down her book.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's not that I want to stay here, but in order to move through, I have to be allowed to do so.
Yeah, there's phases of it, right?
And really I could say that it's about someone trying to stop me from that process. But you have to take the permission. Just take it. That's true freedom. It's like, I'm finna do this right here. and nothing you could say is going to stop me. I'm pissed off about this. I don't feel comfortable. In order for me to get to frustration, in order to rise out of despair of not wanting to be here, not to take my next breath, I had to go through the range of emotion. Because really, being angry is better than despair. Because you got to be pissed off. Like if human beings as a rule, we're lazy, right?
Yeah.
Unless we're uncomfortable, we're not going to change.
Right.
We're creatures of habit.
True.
It's just what it is.
True.
And it's only through kind of like the pool of anger will we do something.
And we're sick and tired of being sick and
You gotta
tired.
be sick and tired. But how about you just be like, I just don't choose that.
Right.
But you gotta be. Sometimes you have to be in the road of anger in order to decide different.
Right.
A lot of Black women, we get stuck there because it's really masking that hurt, that disappointment, that just like, oh, nobody will hear me unless I'm angry.
Right. Right.
And then also societally, from other ethnic groups, we are deemed as such when they want to be dismissive. It's like, no, this anger here is valid.
Right. Right.
And I need to give you a cup of it because you're partially responsible for the bullshit. And I'm not gonna take it anymore.
Right. Right.
So that I can consider in my body that being forgiving is a possibility and it's my right.
Did you go through different stages or phases in doing Stop Giving Your Power Away when you did your book, or no?
Yes.
Okay.
For the women that felt, I felt awesome that they felt safe enough to give this to me. But I felt like, man, I'm so surprised nothing like this has been spoken before. But I did also pray to be given something that needed to be spoken through me from my perspective. And then out it came. I was like, oh, that God, that's what we want to talk about. Oh, okay. So give me the wherewithal to continue with the conversation.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. I'm going to take another break.
Okay.
We can do that?
I mean, it's your show, John.
We're going to take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to the people about what you ladies have going on next, how they can find you, because you gave a lot of nuggets today. So people are going to be knocking on the door. If you have workshops, seminars, book tours coming up, what cities, all those good things, when we come back in just a few.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Real Chicks Rock.
wildest dreams. I never thought that I'd find myself this close to you, my dear. Tell me what it means. I can feel your sweet caress, wash away all the loneliness that I once felt inside my heart. Boy, if you can read my mind, I'm sure that you would find what you've been searching for, what you've been searching for. Free me from despair, there's so much to share. If you surrender to me, whispering my ears, words I learned tonight. Gotta find a way to get into your heart. Boy, I got to have your love. Get into your heart. You know, I need your love. Gotta get into your heart. Boy, I got to have your love. Get into your heart. You know, I need your love. You're like an angel in disguise. I feel like I'm in heaven when you walk my way. It's such a mystery. Butterflies I feel inside must be a sign of love. No one can disagree. My desire for your love is like a new horizon only lovers see. Like you and I. Satan, I will be the start to synchronize our hearts. I'll love you till my dying day, until my dying day. There's so much to share. If you surrender to me, whispering my ears, words I long to hear. Boy, I got to have your love. Get into your heart. You know, I need your love. Get into your heart. Boy, I got to have your love. Get into your heart. You know, I need your love. Let's do it. Let's make it to the let's start it. This love within my heart. Put my loving where you are. Let's do it. There's nothing to it. Come on, let's get started. Take this love within my heart. Put my loving where you are. Loving where you are. You for real or just a dream? Are you
promise me a raise? Who's gonna raise me when I'm dead? Oh, I'm so tired of punching that clock every day. Always skating on thin ice. Lord knows we could use a holiday, baby. Just the two of us would be so nice. Give me the bum. Give me the bum bum. Give me the bum 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 beat. Give me the good life.
Comedic, 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 comedic.
Bum 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 beat. Oh, give me the good life.
Wow, chicks, wow.
Oh, baby.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.
Welcome back for part 3. My mouth's open. My mouth is open. Serious content here for the books, but the women are awesome. And again, this was all about finding your empowerment, your inspiration to becoming the author, writing. If you journal, if you write, be that author, get your story, get your truth out. So we're going to soften things up because that's part 2 that was filled with some information and things, and it was designed to open up your eyes. We wanted to talk about what you ladies are going to be doing next. Look at Fonda. You can laugh. Yeah, it's okay. She does the one eyebrow all the way up. All the way up. Yes. It's okay. We're softening up the mood. So I'm going to start with Joyce. What do you got going on next? Book tours? What cities? Where you're at? What's going on?
So my next city is Chicago, which is my hometown.
Is that right?
Yes.
Chi-town. Yeah, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Portillo's and Tahiti.
Oh, shit.
Oh
Look
my
at
God.
that. They're in love, these
Oh
two.
my God.
Eli's cheesecake, though.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I love everything about
She-
Chicago's food.
Oh, it's good. So when are you going for Thanksgiving or when?
No, my mom is coming for Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Oh, I'm so excited.
She's so
She
excited.
got on melted.
Did she got that down? Joyce is so.
My mom is coming.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I cried last Thanksgiving because I don't have any family here. just
Okay.
My son. So my son was like, I was like, well, I can make some Cornish hens or something. He's like, nah, I want to go to my best friend's house. I was like, oh my God, no.
Yeah.
myself.
No.
But she's coming.
Okay. So when are you going to Chicago for the book tour? When is that happening?
December 22nd, I'll be in Chicago.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm going to LA.
Awesome.
Yes.
This
in
is great.
Houston, and yeah, so it's a lot that I'm doing. Is my organization.
Yes.
We're raising funds to open a community center.
Yeah.
Yes, and me and a young lady, Erica Thomas, we have it's called Project Bliss, and so we do we give back to domestic violence survivors. So what we do is just say you submit to me a story about someone that needs to be pampered for the day. So we pick them up with camera crew. We have a driver, a Maserati driver, that we pick her up. Cameras are in her face. She just doesn't know what's happening. And then we take her to a hotel. We pamper her for the whole entire day.
Nice.
And massage therapist is there. Hair, makeup, clothes. It's just amazing.
Awesome.
So we're doing that actually in December. Next month in a couple of weeks. We're going to do something different.
Nice.
So yeah, we always go live. And I have December 3rd or 5th. I should know this. December 3rd. I'm having a sip and paint and sip.
Yes.
To raise awareness. It's a fundraiser for my organization.
Is that going to be here?
Yes.
Okay.
Painting with a twist.
I think I might have saw that. I'm not sure. Yeah, I like to get involved in that. One thing I wanted to say was, I'm just going to put it right here if we think about it. Collaborative economics. I know a lot of powerful women come through here, out there. Collaborative economics. We'll talk about that offline. How can people get your book?
My website, which is I Am Your Voice. That is IAMUR voice.com. And it's also available on Amazon as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Fonda, what's going on with you? What do you got?
Well, evidently, I'm writing a book in 30 days. I'm publishing my book in 30 days. So
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
I mean, airtime. No shade.
No shade.
So that's really exciting, actually, because
Yes.
I've been in my head about it. So this is why, speaking out loud to speak a thing is so necessary. What else am I doing? Well, that's the forefront of my mind right now.
Speaking is always there. You're a life coach. You're life coaching people, are you not?
Yes. I want to do a vision board class where it's going to be, it's still in the works. It's still in my head. But I want to do a vision board class because I've manifested almost every single thing in my life.
Through your vision board?
Through vision boarding.
Is that right? It's powerful,
It's
vision
so
boards.
good.
And I know there's power, and I've not done one.
Oh, well, maybe, yeah. You might want to come.
I'm just so disobedient.
So once I put the event up, I'll make sure that I tag you and do that.
Yeah, I got to do a vision board. You know what it is for me? Some of it is fear.
Sure.
I'm afraid for the things that I ask for that I want, they're going to come true. They're starting to come true now.
Just ask for the preparation for that.
Are you going to be my life coach?
I mean, I think we already established
I think
that.
so. We got to talk,
Okay,
make that official, because I
don't have one.
And I'm out here doing this stuff, and I'm unsupervised. I do not. I need a life coach.
Okay.
I don't. But I pick from your tree, though. I know which trees to pick from. So I make sure that I surround myself, embody myself with people, like-minded people, and I pick. And I pick from Anana Harris Paris. And I pick from you, and I pick from Monique, and I pick, and I pick, and I pick. And I think I'm doing it right. But no, I need to commit to, because what did you say? That people are out here being a life coach and they don't have a life coach, right?
I said that, yes.
I'm out here trying to be a motivational speaker. I have nobody speaking into me. I gotta change my ways in 2018. Cut it out. Stop fronting. Stop playing. You've done workshops, though, have you not? Has that right? You've got a workshop that goes with your book, or no? How does that go for?
I've done a couple of retreats in the past.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Looking to do some more in 2018, maybe, or at least one.
I'd like to do something in Key West. I want to take people out of their environment.
Right. I've seen you do that before with a group of ladies, and it looked pretty phenomenal.
In Miami.
Yes.
Yes, that was fun.
That was fun for you.
Yes. I cooked and I coached. It's a little bit too much.
Joyce ain't doing that.
Too much. You
Joyce,
can't
I say yes.
So you cook and you coach because food is powerful, right?
Well, food is love for me, and I want to show people. A lot of my inspiration comes out of my cooking. So whenever I get stuck, I go in the kitchen and I start to cook.
Is that right?
And but I also feel like we don't have a relationship with food, and we're not nourished through our food choices.
Come through now. Come on.
So
yeah.
So I like to show people that they've got it. That it's not complicated. You can't get it wrong unless it's burnt.
Yeah.
Everything else in between that is, fair game.
Yes.
And you do better next time.
Yes. You do Facebook Live a lot. And you do it for cooking, which is great. That pulls us in. You've done some tapings, like some recordings of just things that were on your mind, and the responses have been good. So you've used social media to continue to help promote and be an extension of your voice to reach the masses. I've sat at your table. I've been blessed to have my feet under your table, and I've eaten. It was wonderful. So is there like a cookbook in your future? I'm going to look away as you take a minute to answer. Are you thinking about doing a cookbook?
I would do a cookbook with my husband. I think that'd be hot.
That would be super hot.
It'd be all the things.
I want the first first auditions that come out. The first one, I'm in that one. Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, I think that would be fun, but I have to get him on board. I have to get him to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got some recipes in mind? Some favorites?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You're really
Quite a
good at
few.
it. You're good at it.
I love it. I'm not a baker. You don't want me to bake.
No, you just
anything.
cook.
Unless it's off the back of the Duncan Hines brownie.
Maybe.
Like I could do a brownie out the box.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything else? No.
Yeah.
No.
So today you're cooking. There's going to be some cooking going on today.
I am super excited about that. Oh, but squirrel. I get so the people can find me on my website.
Yes.
FondaClayton.com.
Yes.
FONDA.
Yes.
CLAYTON.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm there on all social media.
Yes.
Such, Fonda Clayton.
Right.
And on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Mindful Fonda.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your book, how can they get your book?
On Kindle, or
Okay.
if they don't feel like going, searching through that, it's fondaclayton.com / stop giving your power away.
Okay, great. And that we're going to get a hard copy. And by the end of the year, that's the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to get another book next year,
Yes.
hopefully, right?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I'm video heavy. Like I have to, I want to develop my podcast a bit more. I just relaunched that like in the last 3 weeks. And that's going really well.
Nice.
Getting a lot of really good hits, having juicy conversations.
Juicy.
Because it's called The Juicy Life. So.
I was thinking podcast this morning myself.
Huh.
I was taking this.
You could just take this.
I was going to take this and podcast
Yeah,
it.
you don't have to redo it.
I love it. That's what I was going to do for 2018. Yeah. I was sitting here, things are going in my mind. I was thinking of conference. I was thinking of Joyce and you and Anana and Monique. I just know some powerful women.
That'd be fun.
We could change the world.
I love Anana.
I love her too. Everybody I bring up here, you've not met. Oh, she's self-care, baby. 101. Yeah, shouts out to Anana Harris Paris. Yeah, so some of the things that you speak about in Stop Giving Your Power Away is similar energy that Anana has been out advocating and pushing about. And it's just about self-care. A lot of it is about self-care. And we, as women, multitaskers, mothers, wives, daughters, everything, we don't take the time to stop. The one thing that she'll say to us every day is, what is your critical need for the day? You have to identify what's your critical need for the day. And it's okay that it changes from day to day, but you should identify what that is and make sure you get that for self.
That's
Man,
awesome.
I've become a better you because of you and you.
Aw.
Yeah, I said that. Wow. Yeah. So that's it for me for today. This was wonderful. Thank you guys for listening. You guys know me, the real chick. I just made up a new name. The real chick. I'm everywhere. I am. I'm on Facebook, Real Chicks Rock. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. I have a website, right? realchicksrock.com. Yeah, I had to think about what right it was. I have Google. Get at me. If you want to get at these ladies, you couldn't remember all. I want to get to me, to get to them, get to these women. Listen, come on. There's a book inside of you. That was the whole conversation about today. Let writing be your form of expression. There's something about you that has to get out. Write your truth. Your truth is different than what we experienced today. It could have been bright, rosy, sunshiny, filled, whatever that is. Write it, get it out, because it's going to help somebody. Today, we always want people to walk away with the fact that if you can help one person, you can help many. So let's create this chain. Let's not break this chain. Let's just kind of continue to build, help, empower, inspire, and motivate others as best as we possibly can. I want to thank my guests today, Joyce Reed, Fonda Clayton. Thank you both for being so transparent. Until the next time, you guys continue to rock on. Take care.
The biggest station in the world, playing all of today's hits. You're listening to Instinct Radio.